anniversary gala, my fiancé's brother pointed at me and announced, "I've spent a year investigating this woman. She is a gold digger." Nathan and I were together for 3 years. Everything was perfect, except for Dominic. Dominic was the heir apparent to their family's real estate empire. From day one, he treated me like a parasite. He would make passive-aggressive comments about my modest background. He constantly reminded Nathan that I was just a teacher who didn't understand their elite world. Nathan always brushed it off, claiming Dominic was just overly protective of the family legacy. 8 months ago, I was grabbing a quick lunch when Dominic slid into my booth. He didn't order. He just stared at me. "You're going to slip up," whispered. "And when you show your true colors, I'll be the one holding the spotlight." I assumed it was just his usual intimidation. It wasn't. A few weeks later, a boutique consulting firm offered me a bizarrely lucrative contract to design some educational curriculum. The catch? I had to sign a strict non-disclosure agreement and accept my payment through an offshore account. I politely declined. A month later, a strange man approached me on the street, claiming he was a private investigator who had damaging dirt on Nathan, offering to sell it to me. I walked away immediately. Then, the anonymous gifts started arriving. Designer bags were mailed to my apartment with a printed note saying, "From an admirer." I donated every single item to a local charity. I didn't connect the dots until the consulting firms sent a follow-up email. In the fine print of their signature, they used a very specific archaic Latin phrase that Nathan's grandfather had famously engraved on their estate's fireplace. My blood ran cold. I went online and dug into the state's business registry. The consulting firm's registered agent was a corporate law office downtown. I paid a small fee to pull the full incorporation history. There it was. The primary shareholder was a shell company, and the authorized signatory was Dominic. He had engineered every single temptation. I printed the entire paper trail, slipped it into a leather portfolio, and kept completely quiet. The collision happened at Nathan's parents' 40th anniversary gala. The ballroom was packed with local politicians, wealthy socialites, and business partners. Dominic was holding court near the main entrance, glowing with absolute arrogance. I finally knew why. Right before dinner, Dominic stepped up to the grand staircase and clinked his champagne glass. "Before we celebrate my parents, I need to protect them," he announced, his voice carrying over the crowd. Nathan squeezed my hand, looking confused. Dominic pointed straight at me. "I've spent a year investigating this woman. She is a grifter. She's been hoarding untraceable cash, accepting luxury bribes, and preparing to bleed my brother dry." Gasps rippled through the ballroom. Nathan stepped in front of me, flushed with sudden anger, but Dominic held up a thick stack of printed emails. "I have the receipts right here," Dominic shouted. I gently pushed past Nathan. "So do I said, my voice steady. I walked to the center of the room. The consulting firm that tried to wire me offshore money, the private investigator, the anonymous gifts. I pulled out the state registry documents and handed them directly to Nathan's father. Dominic funded all of it. He created fake companies to bribe me, and when I refused to take the bait, he decided to frame me instead. Nathan's father scanned the documents. His expression shifted from shock to absolute fury. He handed the papers to Nathan. My fiancé read his brother's signature, his hand shaking. "You did this?" Nathan asked, his voice dangerously low. Dominic scoffed, trying to maintain his composure. "I was stress testing her." "You're blind, Nathan. Someone had to make sure she wasn't just after the trust fund." Nathan didn't yell. He just looked at his brother with pure disgust. "You didn't protect me. You embarrassed this family, and you tried to destroy my future." Nathan turned to his father, who gave a stern final nod. Dominic was officially excised from the inner circle. Nathan wrapped his arm around my waist and walked me out of the ballroom, leaving Dominic standing alone in the deafening silence. In the car, Nathan finally looked at me, eyes wide with betrayal. "You knew he was doing this? Why didn't you show me those papers weeks ago?" I reached across the console and took his hand. "Because I couldn't spend the rest of my life competing with your family's paranoia," I told him softly. I needed to see what would happen when he finally executed his master plan. I needed to know if you would blindly trust his accusations, or if you would look at the facts and trust the woman you asked to marry. Nathan gripped my fingers tightly. "I would choose you over his delusions every single time."